Towson, Baltimore, and all the fun and the romance of New Orleans. But I love this big guy and love what he's gone on to do after his playing career. We welcome back to WNST, Super Bowl 47 champion, and our pal, the one, the only, the great Matt Burke joins us here. And you're not even talking about pro football in the NFL. You're talking about the Army-Navy game here this week. Welcome back, Matt.
Hey, it's good to be with you, Nestor.
Well, where does life take Matt Burke at this point? I know we got a lot of ground to cover here on Army-Navy this week and the After the Impact Fund, but what are you doing with your life here? You always had a lot of children, and last I checked, you were reading to them and to every other kid in America, I think, right?
Well, let's see. Since Super Bowl 47, added 2 more kids, moved to Florida, moved to New York for a couple years, back in Florida, and just trying to keep it all together.
Is that like a whole football team now? I mean, you could certainly play 7-on-7, right? I mean, at least, right?
Yeah, well, we get some pretty good games going in the yard. I got a couple with some potential.
What are the age ranges of your little ones now?
We go 14 to 4 months.
Wow. I remember during your time here, several of them have a Baltimore stamp on their birth certificates as well in your time
That's
here.
right.
Now, Baltimore's the home of the Army-Navy game this week, and I know you're doing a lot of stuff, and this is a major part of your mission in life, and involvement with the military, involvement with helping the country, the After the Impact Fund, and I know we're going to be talking more about this as we get up on Super Bowl, because a lot of guys come by and do a lot of really good stuff for other people.
Yeah, we've started After the Impact Fund, which is really collaboration between Gridiron Greats, which is Ditka's organization, which I've served for 10 years, the Independence Fund, which helps retired military, and the Eisenhower Center in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And basically, we kind of found out guys were going to the Eisenhower Center, and they discovered that when you pair retired NFLers with military veterans, they actually do better when you pair them off together. There's a mutual respect there. They kind of get each other. They're similarly wired in some ways, and so we thought, let's get a facility exclusively for the retired NFL players and for the military veterans who need, serious help. We're talking about getting to the guys that are on the brink, that are on the edge, and are thinking perhaps of doing the unthinkable. So we're proud to say that we're going to open up a facility early 2017 in Jacksonville, Florida, an inpatient facility with a comprehensive services, neurocognitive, behavioral, ortho, life transition skills, and we're also going to treat their families. So this is exciting. It doesn't exist right now. And ultimately, we're not just going to change lives. We're going to save lives with this, Nestor.
Well, Matt, in marrying this philosophy of what the NFL and military, and I've been doing for years, I've had Dick come by. I think I met you before you were a Raven, doing something with donating the brains and Chris Nowinski, and what happens to football players from head trauma? What happens to soldiers, who come back from the desert with these afflictions? And seeing this thing work together, it's funny because Army-Navy this week, we play Belichick on Monday night here, and I know you were involved in a bunch of this, and maybe this brings both of this together, but every person I've talked to, calls the Patriots run sort of like the way the Navy would be run, and you being a football player and always being on time, there are some similarities between what both groups hope to do, right?
The cultures are very similar. You got to be tough. You got to be team oriented. You got to have purpose, or you feel purpose when you're part of your team or your unit. So I was always amazed. Harbs does such a great job of engaging so much of the military in the area and bringing them by to practice. And they would always talk to us afterwards, and they'd always talk about how much they respect what we did. And it was like, are you kidding me? What you guys do is so much more important and so much more honorable. But I think they respect us because they know what it takes, and I also think they appreciate football players because when they're deployed, for a lot of them, they said, what got me through the week was knowing Sunday morning at 3 a.m. I was going to be able to watch the Ravens play. So it works really well when you get these two populations together. They can inspire and encourage and support each other, and that's what it's all about. And that's what guys miss when they leave the game, when they leave the military. They miss that camaraderie.
Well, tell me about what you miss about football at this point. I mean, you obviously had all sorts of ailments and things happen to you during the course of your career, and to get you to the field, you win, you go out the door. door as a champion, and you always had a different heartbeat about your family and about your beliefs and about what you wanted to do, but you also had to find a place that wasn't snapping footballs, right? I mean, were you always very clear on exactly what the vocation of your service would be 5 years after your career?
No, I mean I've gone through a lot of things, and I think I'm still kind of in transition in some ways. I mean, what you miss is just on Monday morning you had a task. Our task this week is to beat whoever we were playing, and you worked all week, and then on Sunday you went out there and you either succeeded or you failed. But you did it arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder with the other guys in the team, and success, professional life isn't. It's not always that black and white. It was just that clarity of having a mission every week and knowing if you did it or you didn't, and obviously the rapport and the camaraderie you build with the guys in the locker room. Being a part of that, you definitely miss it. And I don't know if, other than the military, and I'm obviously never served, but I don't know if there's other places or other vocations like that in life. So certainly, I always joke it's a hard way to make an easy living, but you miss kind of the simplicity of it.
What does the title on your card now say for the NFL? Like, what do you do all day? I mean, I know you work for the league, and I've seen you turn up in different ways, and your name gets bandied about because you're one of the famous guys who actually played. But what are you doing on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I mean, could I say special advisor? Is that vague enough? I'm fortunate enough to, I need to do a lot of things, but I just recently took a position on the board of USA Football, which is the youth partner of the NFL. They're the national governing body, and they're really responsible for growing the game at the youth and high school level, and that's something I feel passionate about. I don't think there's a better class a kid can take in high school than football. The things I've learned from the game, I take with me. I apply to my marriage. I apply to being a father. I apply to my work. I apply to my faith even. So to me, I think football is a great institution to help boys become men. And we all know the concussion talk and everything, and that's all real, and that exists. But there's not enough people out there talking about the rewards, and so I'm really excited to be able to do work like this, to be able to help promote and advocate for the game, and specifically the high school coach. I think the high school football coach is one of the most important jobs in America, because when somebody in their lives, when maybe in their 20s or 30s, they're having a problem. Let's be real. A lot of kids these days don't have a dad. They don't have a dad they can go to. So a lot of these kids, they're going back to talk to their high school football coach to get advice. That's the position. That's the podium this guy is on. They're not, with all due respect, they're not going back and talking to their chemistry teacher or their calculus teacher. Football coach can have a huge positive impact on a young person, and so that's the kind of stuff I'm working on, and feel very privileged to do so.
Matt Burke is here. He's having a positive impact on us right now. You can learn more about the After the Impact Fund at aftertheimpactfund.org. Opening in early 17. Are we talking Super Bowl time, or maybe a little later on?
Well, we'll see. It depends how fast we can work, but we have a beautiful facility in Jacksonville that we took control of and have been gutting it and renovating it, and it's going to really it's a great place to service these NFL players and military veterans.
Keeping an eye on Joe Flacco, number 5 here. This has been a challenging year for the Ravens for sure, but great opportunity on Monday night. Big doings here. This is what Monday Night Football is all about up in Foxborough this week, right?
Well, it's just setting up perfectly for the Ravens. I think there's adversity early. You don't play well. You have some injuries. Getting healthy, playing well. And these are the kind of games the Ravens are built for. This is what Harbs talks about all year. And the one thing about the Ravens, people ask me a lot, because in my 4 years there, we played the Pats 7 times, 6 times at Foxborough, and we did pretty well. And people always say, well, what's the secret? And it starts with, Belichick and Brady, they're so great, and I think that intimidates a lot of people, and they play tight. That doesn't scare the Ravens. I don't care who's in the uniforms. The players change, but Harbs is still there, and they're not going to be mesmerized by the greatness of the Patriots. And so you have to like the matchup. I mean, the Ravens, in typical Ravens fashion, the defense is physical and tough, and and they're going to keep him in the game. And Joe, he's got the ice water in his veins. He's just ho hum Joe. He's just going to go up there and just do what he does. So it's the perfect game, perfect matchup for the Ravens right now, I think.
Matt, you still reading to these kids out here, man? When I think of you, I think of kids gathered around your bigness, and I know you're half the man you used to be physically. Sometimes when I look at you, you got rid of the weight pretty quickly. Still reading to the kids?
Oh yeah. We're in fact my wife and I are chairing a campaign to build a preschool down in Florida, and there's just as a football player, you always work on mastering the fundamentals, and there's no greater fundamental in child's education when it comes to reading.
Well, hey, man, anytime you want to read to the kids up here, give me a ring. It's great to hear your voice. Great to check in with you. I hope I see you in Houston or somewhere down the line. And, at some point they're going to start having these reunions for the 47. It's getting to be that time, the 5s and the 10s and all that. So, the class of Super Bowl 35 comes back all the time now. So your day will come. At some point they're going to hand you the little purple torch, and you're going to have to go down on the field and before kickoff and hold that up. That'll be a thrill.
I look forward to that. That'd be great.
Starting new traditions here, Matt Burke. Great having you on, buddy.
Thanks, Nestor. Good to talk to you.
You got it. Matt Burke for Gridiron Greats and the Independence Fund on the military side. AfterTheImpactFund.org is what he's talking about. They are putting together a flagship campus in Jacksonville, Florida, to bring together military and football players who are struggling with post-career disorders and finding some similarity there. So AfterTheImpactFund.org is the way to do that. Great of Matt Burke to drop by here during the week of Army and Navy, as well as Ravens and Patriots. No better week to have him on than right now. You can find me out in the Bayou Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. Morning newspaper ships to your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That's powered up by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. It's still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life there. Last but never least, breaking news happens anytime, anywhere. When it does, you'll be glad you're on the WNST.net tech service. It comes first. Really, it works. About 10,000 of you on that now. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. And Dennis Kolotzis will be here on Thursday driving you home and getting you ready for Thursday Night Football as well as a weekend of Army-Navy. I got the Caps on Sunday. And, of course, on Monday I'll be in Foxborough for Ravens and Patriots. You can follow along. Nasty at WNST.net finds me on email, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram. It's streaming live on our Facebook as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We're everywhere you want to be. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.